guys, it's your girl Linnee and welcome to Inner Beauty Out. Today we're doing another makeup tutorial and this is featuring a holiday party makeup look. So if you want to see how I put this look together, stay tuned. So to start the look, we have to set underneath our brow bone, and for this we're going to use our Morphe M433 blending brush and NC50 in the MAC Studio Fix Powder Plus Foundation Compact. And basically what we're doing is setting the concealer that is underneath our brow bone to have a nicer and more natural transition. Then we're going to put in our base, and I'm using the Urban Decay primer, and this is just to make sure that our eyeshadow will not crease and last long throughout the day. Then I'm going to go back in with my PAINTPOT by MAC, and I'm also going to use this as my base as well to make the colors pop a little bit more. So now I'm going to go ahead and blend all that out with the powder brush that we used earlier, and I'm going to go back in with my M330 tapered blending brush. Then we're going to use Coastal Scents Petal Peach, and that's going to be our transition color. Well, it's going to set the transition color. So it's a pink wash of color and it's very bright. And to warm up that color, what we're going to use is MAC's Saddle, and that's going to be more of a flesh tone color. But you'll see the transition. This is actually adding dimension to the crease so that you will see a nice gradient. I'm then going in with Sketch by MAC, and I'm just going to put this in the outer V corner of the eye, and this is just building on the color on the outer corner of the eye. And basically what this is just building for the smoky eye. I didn't want to go in with an intense black at first. I just wanted to build that gradient so it's a softer purple muting into the black. So for the black, we're going in with our Kat Von D palette, the eye contour palette, and with that shade we're going to build on top of our MAC sketch color. With working with this color, you want to tap the color in to basically build on the pigmentation and actually spread it in. I'm actually going in with my Beauty Marks palette, and it reminds me of like the Coastal Scents palettes that are out there, but the colors are very pigmented as well. And this is going to be my grayish base for the silver that I'm going to actually lay on top. And basically I'm using Inglott's silver shadow, and I'll include that information as well in the description box. In that part I'm going to build a nice gradient ombre effect from light to dark on the lid. Using a nice synthetic brush to pack on the color really helps to build on the pigmentation. So I didn't want to lose the color that I had going on from that grayish tone from the My Beauty Marks palette, so I went in and put that in the center of the lid just to have a nice gradient effect from light to dark. And then I want to make sure I'm blending in as much as possible throughout this whole process to be able to make sure that all the colors are diffused into each other. Next, I'm going back in with Sketch by MAC, and I just want to warm up that crease again by bringing that back into the crease. So I'm using my tapered blending brush by MAC, and then I'm going back in with a clean blending brush to make sure there are no harsh lines. The key to working with smoky eye looks is to build on the shade and not go in with an intense look. Next, I'm using Pink Moscato for my brow bone, and this color is by Morphe brushes. It's a nice champagne-y pink kind of a shade just to highlight that brow bone. I'm going back in with that clean blending brush, and I'm just going to fuse both of those together into the crease. Now I'm going to go ahead and highlight my face, and I'm using NC42 Studio Fix concealer, and it's a cream concealer. It's a little bit more durable than your regular liquid concealer. I'm using my fingers to warm out and blend the shades together. So if you want to try this method, it really does work with the longevity of this concealer. Then I go back in with my beauty blender to make sure that there are no fingerprints and everything is blended out seamlessly. So because this is a holiday makeup tutorial, I went with a lighter concealer than I would normally go in with because I really wanted a dramatic highlight and contour effect. So for my contour, I'm using Black Opal's foundation stick in Suede Mocha. Using this particular shade of a contour, which is not as dark or as grayish tone in it, it has a little bit more red, brings warmth back into my face. As I've mentioned in previous videos, what it does is just brings a little bit more color. Yes, I'm getting the contour effect on the sides of my face, but most importantly throughout the perimeter of my face, I'm actually bringing back warmth. So as you know, we have to blend out this baby, so I'm using my beauty blender once again, and I am just using dabbing motions to blend the shade and the warmth back into my face from my hairline towards the center of my face. So you'll see me push down the product into my skin just to make it a little bit more of a seamless finish. So everyone contours in different areas for different reasons, whether they're trying to recede certain things that they want to make appear slimmer, or they want to just bring back some color. I can do another tutorial based on contouring and highlighting and the effects and reasons of why I do what I do to my particular face shape and what you can do for your face shape. So just let me know in the comment section below. So now we're about to get to cooking, and this is basically also a method called baking, and I'm using my setting powder, and this is by Sasha Cosmetics, and it is their Buttercup setting powder, and I love this. I can't speak about this enough. It is very finely milled, and it just really seeps into the skin and brings about a nice highlighted shade. So I'm also going to go ahead and use my NW44 in the MAC Studio Fix Powder Plus Foundation Compact, and this is the exact shade of my particular face color. So I just want to blend in all my contour areas, all the highlighted areas, and just make it more of a nice gradient look. Then I'm going to go back in and just kind of brush off a bit of that highlight powder that was underneath my eyes with the same powder, and just basically make it less bright along those areas. I'm going to also go ahead and set my contour areas with a darker shade, and using the COVERGIRL bronzer called Ebony Bronze, and I'm using my Morphe brush here to go ahead and do that. And I'm just going in the hollows of my face and along the perimeters basically, and just bringing back that color so that we don't lose that pigmentation. I'm doing the same thing along the sides of my nose, and this is what's going to make your nose appear a little bit slimmer. So basically using a smaller shadow brush to do this gives you a little bit of a better execution in that. Now I'm going in with my sculpting powders in Warm Light and Soft Focus, and I just want to bring back a little bit more highlight, and I'm just going to go and do that and use those two shades along the bottom parts of my eyes. Then I go back in that Kat Von D palette, and I want to bring some more drama back down to the waterline, and so right underneath my lash line I'm actually applying that black shade a little bit more, and I'm actually going to go back into the corners of my eyes and do the same thing to just make it a little bit more intense. Following up with my flat definer brush, and I am using that to clean up the outer corners of my eyes just for a better, more defined look. I'm using the same concealer that I used as far as highlighting underneath my eyes, just to brighten it up. And then basically I'm going to go ahead back in with my beauty blender and blend out so that there are no harsh lines. As you can see, that black was not to my satisfaction, so I'm still going back in with that black shade to just intensify the outer corner of the eyes again. And then again blending it out, because that is very important for a flawless finish. Next I'm using that brownish reddish shade, I believe it's called Succumbus, out of the Kat Von D palette, and I just want to warm up underneath the eyelash line, just to make the look come a little bit together. I'm also using Smolder MAC pencil, the kohl pencil, in my tear duct as well as the upper lash line, just to intensify the eyes a little bit more. I'm also using my favorite mascara, which is the Jordana Best Lash Extreme. It is everything, and it is so affordable, so if you haven't tried it out, definitely go ahead and do that. I'm also using some Kiss lashes. I'll include the information about that. I love these so far. They have a good sense of being on the dramatic side, but not overly dramatic. So I really love the drama that these bring to my eyes. I'm also using some N.Y.C liquid liner just to clean up the inner corner of my liner. I'm going back in with the Inglot Silver shadow that we used for the inner corner of the eyes, and I'm going to brighten the bottom tear duct of the eyes as well with that same shade. I'm also using Breath of Plum by MAC blush, as well as Marvelous, I believe that's what it's called, Marvelous, and that's an eyeshadow, a pro eyeshadow by MAC. I just wanted more of a plummy look, and I wanted to mix these two colors together to get me that effect. So I used a darker shade closer to my ear, and then I went in with a lighter shade closer to my cheekbone. I'm also lining my lips with this Jordana Easy Liner, and it's in Silver Lilac. I found this to be a little bit lighter than I wanted it to be. I thought it would have been a little bit more mauvey or purpley, and it didn't turn out that way. So I ended up going back in with MAC's Night Moth just to define the lips a little bit more and make it a nice gradient. The color that I went in for is Pansy by Lime Crime. It is so super pigmented. I love this, and the way that it dries is just so beautiful. Like, it's a little bit darker than this particular shade, but I love the finish that it gives me in the end. And so yeah, it's a matte lip gloss, well, a matte lipstick. What I also love about this matte lip color is that the staying power is just amazing. Like, when you take this off, it definitely does stain, and you will wake up with a little bit of this color payoff in the end. But for the most part, it does not rub off, and you know, it just doesn't has that like white line that you get normally in the inner portion of your mouth. Like, it just really fades really nicely. So I love this. I'm using my concealer brush to clean out the edges of the lips, and then I'm going back up to the brows. So for the brows, I'm actually using a MAC's Pro Longwear Waterproof Brow Set, and this is in the color Red Chestnut. I found that this is a nice way to make the brows a little bit more natural by lighting the inner portion of the brows. It's a new technique I've been using, and I've been really liking the outcome of the brows lately. For my highlight, I'm going in with my holy grail, and that is MAC's Global Glow and a mixture of Gold Deposit, and I'm basically placing it on the high points of my cheekbone and around the perimeters of my face as far as my temples and things like that. I'm going into the center of my nose and the tip of my nose just to bring a little bit of some more highlight, well, some shine. Then I'm just kind of playing around as far as defining my curls a little bit more. Again, this is a holiday party look, so if you want to go for a more naturalista look, then you can just use perm rods the night before and open your curls up the next day, and you can have this nice curled defined look. So as you can see, my blush wasn't enough for me, so I went back in with the same colors and added a little bit more blush to the finished look. I feel like the highlight kind of overpowered it, and so I went ahead and did that. But I'm gonna go back in again with my highlight, and I'm actually using a drugstore or beauty supply highlight, and it is by All Over Glow, and it's their bronzing powder, and it's in Bronze Glow. It's a really nice golden finish, and I didn't show it in this particular clip, but I added a little more just to finish the look. As always, I hope you enjoyed this makeup tutorial. I really would love it if you would give me a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel if you haven't, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye!